Hi guys, welcome to our Wednesday night Zoom. Tonight we're going to talk about follow-ups. I know it's kind of a tough subject for people because we don't want to seem like big fat nags when we're talking about plexus, and that's not the point of everything. So I'm going to share how I follow up partially, and also how a lot of the Jules do it too. They obviously have kind of mastered it, and I want to pass down their tips as well as my own, the ones that I personally find helpful. Sorry, I was running up and down the stairs with my dog. So following up, I want to start out by saying that we never, ever, 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 ever want to give up. Because if we do, that's a solid no, and that's not a no that comes from them. So we always want the no to come from them if it's going to be a no. We never want to be the ones that put a stop to either their success or financial success, or their success in feeling better. So I want to start out with some statistics. I'm a numbers girl, and numbers can't lie. Did you know that 48% of people never follow up? 48%. That is half. Like, in my opinion, that's not okay. If you want to go anywhere in this company, you absolutely have to follow up. You send the info, you have the lengthy conversation, you answer all of the questions. The time is spent, the investment is there, but then that's it. You don't go any further with it than that. And that's a huge disservice. 25% of people follow up a second time. 12% follow up 3 times. 10% follow up 3%, or 10% of people will follow up 3 times or more. That's where you're going to see the success. That's what separates the doers from the stayers, the doers from the dreamers. You'll hear this time and time again. If you haven't heard it already, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because it's really one of the truths that we live in network marketing, but the fortune is in the follow-up. If we don't follow up, we're really walking into a wall, and we're doing ourselves a disservice, we're doing our business a disservice, and we're doing our potentials a disservice. More with the numbers, 2% of sales or commitments in general are made after the first contact. That's 2 out of 100. A lot of times people are the one to reach out to you. Hey, I've seen your posting. What is this? Can I have more info? How much is it? Is it expensive? They're the ones that reach out to you. But think about that. 2 out of 100 people commit on the first conversation. And that's true. That's not me just making up numbers in my crazy brain. That's true. And I've seen it actually firsthand, like in my business. I've had a couple people purchase right after we've spoken, or the only conversation we have is me telling them information and them just being like really just ready. I've never, though, had an ambassador join my team after 1 conversation. That hasn't happened. I'm sure that it has in some foreign universe, but to me, it hasn't happened. So that goes to show you that it can. It's not impossible, but it's very rare that it does. 3% commit, or buy, whatever it is. 3% commit after the second follow-up. 3% after the second. 5% after the third. 10% after the 4th contact. You guys get ready for this, because it will blow your mind. 80% commit after the 5th through the 10th contact. 5 contacts at least. That is a huge percentage. That is 80 out of 100, 8 out of 10. That's a lot. That's a huge and significant statistic that we really can't ignore. With a number that big, we can't ignore it. We can't, just say that's a fluke. So keep that in mind as you're going to follow up. As I gave you these statistics, I want you to really marinate in them. And this was something that was really important that I talked to you guys about, because I know so many of us, not just on this call, but so many of us in network marketing within a Plexus family feel really insecure about following up. They're not sure how much is too much, how much is too little. So I wanted kind of break it down and go, not really step by step, but give you some tips from my business and from others too that have worked. So let's talk about a potential named Susie. First initial, or the initial contact has been made, right? They either write you, that's generally what happens, or they see your posts, they see your tank top sporting around the gym, or they see you walking around town, they see you at the grocery store, Home Depot, wherever you are, they see your shirt, they get your business card from somewhere, whatever the case may be, the contact has been made. Send them info, send them your link, have them read about Plexus, send them a couple articles that you really like. One of the first things that I learned about talking about Plexus is if they can and they have the time, talk to them about it. Ask them what they hope Plexus to help with. That is always the first question that I ask a potential. What are you hoping Plexus to change for you, or what do you hope Plexus to help you with? The second contact. I'll put a spin on this actually too. I wrote my notes and I'm not going to stick to them exactly. But I always alternate contacts between Plexus and personal info, like personal conversations, just so it's not like Plexus. We want to break it up. We want to reintroduce the fact that we are real people and not just Plexus robots, because we're not. We're people outside of Plexus too. We have jobs. We're moms. We do all of these things. And you need to remember who you were before Plexus. So write them, maybe a couple of days after. Hey, I saw your kids had a soccer game. Did you guys have so much fun? Has it been hot there? It's been like really steamy here. That's crazy, whatever. Have a conversation. Always end the contact with a question though, so it elicits some kind of response. If you don't ask a question at the end or at some point in your message, then they may or may not write you back. But when you ask a question, they're always kind of they're going to answer because they're polite people. They're not going to be friends with you if they're not polite. You guys are great and polite and awesome and nice. So they are too, probably. So always end with a question. One of my favorite things to do here too is if you're talking on text. I know iPhones, I'm not sure with Droids, you can do this, but you can like send little voice recordings via text. I love doing that because it's such a cool personal touch. A lot of people, it's been a really long time since they've heard your voice, and it's such a cool touch. It's almost like sending a handwritten note in this day and age. We rarely, pick up the phone to call and ask how people are, unfortunately, but sending a little voice message goes a really long way. So in the second contact, hey, it was really good to, talk to you the other day or the other week, however long it's been. I want to check in with you. How was vacation? Ask how they've been. Third contact, to follow up from that one, this is where you can say, I just wanted to make sure, since the last time that we spoke, that you got the info that I initially sent. The products have made a huge impact on mine and my family's health and wealth I'm finding, and I know that they'll do the same for you. What questions can I answer? There's your question. Don't skip that part, you guys. That's huge and so important. Wait another week before the next time you talk to them. Don't want to feel like a nag. Of course, that's not our job. We want to, bring hope and wellness to their lives, not just a burden. That's not what we're here for. Another great way to follow up is kind of put it this way. I'm following up with all of my people that I've ever spoken about Plexus to. You're one of them, obviously. So I wanted to see if you have any more questions. Send them another link. Whether it's an article that you really like, send them a video, a diamond documentary that closely relates to their situation. What if they're interested in the business, but they don't really know that yet? Send them, if they're a nurse, there's a lot of great diamond docs about women who were working and wanted to stay home with their families and were able to achieve that with Plexus, or people that have a testimony related closely to their goals, their health goals or their financial goals. Every time that you send them something, tell them that you're going to follow up with them on a date, because it kind of jogs their memory and it gives them a date that, like, it gives them a deadline, actually. It gives them a deadline when they kind of like an assignment, like a little bit of homework. I hate to put that to you guys like that, but it kind of is. It gives them something to do, and it gives them an end date so that you know in your head also when you can follow up with them. And then they'll have time to consider what you sent, watch the video, read the article, have some thoughts about it so that you know what you can talk about with them. And if you do set a date to talk to them later, for God's sake, follow up on that date. Nothing is worse and nothing breaks down your integrity and credibility than, I mean, we all forget, we're human. Don't be a robot again. But generally try your very, 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 very best to stick to the date that you, try your best to stick to the date that you initially committed to. It's also best, I found, to not ask the person when is a good time. Just tell them, on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, I'm going to write you, okay? So we can talk about the article, the video, whatever. I really am curious what your thoughts are. So I want to hear, okay, let's talk Tuesday, 8 o'clock. That's it. If they come back and suggest another day and time, even better, because then you're really sure that they can, you know, have that virtual meeting with you. Wait about another week. Oh no, I just went over that. Oh, sorry. Oh, follow up 2 weeks later, again, after you've sent another link, another reference. You can always say to, this is another one of my favorites, I do this constantly. Hey, I thought of you when I saw this. What do you think of it? Again, a question, you give them more to think about. A lot of times what you'll see too, and usually for me it happens kind of at the beginning, is that people will ask you for a sample, or is there a way to try? I was watching a video by Diamond Ambassador Melissa Egenhorst, I think is how you say her last name. She's awesome, super sweet and soft-spoken, but she's an absolute rock star. I would definitely recommend that you guys check her out. She has a YouTube channel chock full of info, but she has a great video about follow-ups. And she said, same with Timmy Yancey, I love her. I reference her, I feel like, every Zoom call, but it's because she has some really great info and she runs her business in a very, very legitimate way. She's fantastic. Both completely different styles, but that's the beauty of this whole thing. We all put our own spin. So sending people a sample is another really great way of eliciting a response from your potential, getting them, you know, to think about how they really like the product, but also not just giving away, because, you know, as you know, samples and trial packs, those all come out of our own pockets, and are tax deductible. Don't forget that. I always like to add that in. But because those things come out of our pockets, it can get kind of expensive. So consider your audience. Consider whether they're serious, how long you've been talking to them about Plexus, but always bring up the 60-day money-back guarantee. That is huge. You guys, they don't almost ever require the product being, you know, they want you to try the product for 60 days. So they rarely ever ask that you send the product back, or even the packaging. That is incredible. They usually refund shipping to for the 60 days, and it doesn't even have to be the customer's first 60 days. It can be the second 60 days, but I think the second 60 days they don't refund shipping, but they do refund at any point the 60 days worth of product. That's awesome, and something that we really should be vigilant about. Talking to our customers and making sure that they know that that's an available feature to everybody. It's not just, we don't even get that return policy as ambassadors. It's just for our customers. But make sure we're highlighting that just so that they know that they can risk-free try the products for a full 60 days before they make a guarantee. But sampling is a great way to get people in the door, so to speak. And sometimes, most of the time, like I said, I do this in the beginning. Sometimes, though, it happens towards the end, like right before. It's kind of a decision make or breaker. They either really love it. Rarely do people not love it. I think I've had maybe like 2 or 3 people say that they just can't stand the taste of it. But even then, you can kind of troubleshoot and figure out a way for them to stomach it. One of our teammates, actually, in the very beginning of her pregnancy, she couldn't stomach the taste or even smell of Slim. I'd never noticed that Slim had a smell, but she couldn't do it. And it wasn't until like the very middle of the pregnancy that she was able to deal with the taste. And it wasn't until I suggested a couple of troubleshooting things that she was able to stand the taste of Slim. But once she found the way that she could make it work for herself, then, oh, thanks for joining, Steph. She had to go. Sorry for the disruption, guys. But, you know, just troubleshooting is important. Highlighting those factors to your potentials is a good thing. Sorry. After that last time, so say you sent Susie a sample. Follow up with her. Give her about a week. Some people misplace it altogether. They lose it completely. I've had that happen more than once. Some people forget about it. So following up, give them about a week after you send a sample to try it. If they haven't tried it, some people don't, you know, they have PO boxes or something, so it's really hard for them to go check their mail. So give them a little bit of time to be able to use it. So give it about a week. Sometimes that week after you actually send it, I usually ask, hey, I just wanted to make sure it arrived to you okay. Did you have a chance to taste Slim? They either respond yes or no. In the cases, you know, yes, I loved it. Let me give me more information, and you can send them the links and kind of incorporate the tips that I gave you earlier in the call. No, I didn't like it. Okay, well, there's your opportunity to troubleshoot. Give them information. If you guys haven't heard, lime or lemon fresh juice from either citrus fruit is awesome mixed in with Slim. Blend it up into your favorite vanilla protein powder. There's so many different recipes that you can use with Slim to pass on to your potentials. There's really something for everybody. So keep all of those things in mind. Also, something that I really like to incorporate, and something that the whole One Plexus community really likes to talk about too, is being real. Obviously, right? We want to be real with our friends and our family and make sure that we look like a real person in all of this and not just a Plexus drone. I've said this more than once talking to potentials, but I say this to make them feel like I'm on their side still and not just like a salesperson. But I actually say, hey, I don't want to sound like a nag, but I'm really antsy for you to try Plexus. What is going to make, you know, what can I say to get you to that finish line? What can take you from point A to point B? And that really gets them, it grabs their attention, like, oh, she's not messing around. Don't be afraid of saying things like that, though. People are continuously hearing you out on the information that you're passing on to them. They're not saying no. The fact that they're not saying no is it's a green light. Keep going until they give you that absolutely, I am not interested in your product. I am not interested in joining your team whatsoever. Keep going. Keep following up. Keep being their friend. Keep cultivating that relationship, because even 18, 19 months into this, you guys, I am still getting people that are reaching out. They're like, okay, fine. What is this Plexus crap you're talking about? What can you not shut up about on Facebook? I'm sorry that I actually just got this one today. I'm sorry I've ignored your messages for so long. Can we set up a time tomorrow? Are you free? Nothing makes us happier than waiting a year and a half to hear that conversation. But that's your goal, is not, you do want to hear no, because that means that you planted that seed, and a lot of times no actually means not right now. And you can clarify. Don't be afraid to say, is that no, like you are not interested at all? Or can I check back with you in a couple weeks? Can I check back with you in a month? I've done that before. Set an alarm on your phone, because unless they say absolutely not, I am not interested in either thing, then that's a sign to keep going. Keep asking questions, keep being their friend, keep loving on them, talk to them on their posts, text message them, send them voice messages. I've really started recently doing that and loving the results, and people are liking it too. Again, it's really rare for us to it's really rare for us to pick up the phone and call people these days, because we are so busy, and it's just more common to Facebook Messenger. I've actually even discovered recently the chat feature or the messaging feature on Instagram. That's pretty cool too, but it's really rare to hear someone's voice. It's a great treat to hear from someone, and it's a really nice little addition. So don't be afraid to do all of those things. Just keep in the forefront of your mind the relationship, but also your belief, you guys. You know that the products work. You get a paycheck every month. That's why you're here. You have goals to get somewhere with this company. So keep those in mind. Keep your customers and your potentials goals at the forefront of your priority list, and the rest will kind of fall into place. But never feel like you're bugging people. Just make sure that the relationship is right there at the front of your priorities list, and success will be yours. Okay. I'm going to open up the mics. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot. If you guys have any success stories, I'd love to hear them. And I know that everybody else will too. So if you guys have anything you'd like to add, go ahead and unmute yourselves. And we'll have a little chat, because it was miraculous that I didn't take the full 40 minutes. If you guys want to jump on and have a couple questions or a Q&A session, even if it's not about follow-ups, that's okay too. Give it a couple minutes. Christina, you're the most seasoned out of everyone on the call. Is there anything you'd like to add about follow-ups? Anything that you've learned?
I don't know if there's anything that I've specifically learned. Just being persistent, definitely pays off. I'm working with someone, it still hasn't actually worked out to the sale, but finally after I started talking to this girl in January, sent her a sample in January, messaged her, kind of started spacing out my messages to longer and longer time frames, and then it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, she messaged me and I didn't even message her at this point. She just messaged me and said, I'm finally ready. And then we've been trying to connect to actually get the sale done, but we had a call and everything. So I think it definitely being persistent with not stopping following up, even when they stop responding. Kind of
Absolutely.
Because she was one that there were 5 messages with no response. That's when I kind of gave up for a little bit. And then I would still message her if there was an event or anything like that. Hey, there's this going on. And she's just a total rando from Facebook. Don't know her. So it was hard to make the connection with personally, trying to get to know her outside of that, because she doesn't post on Facebook much or anything. So I don't know much about her. But yeah, so I think that really helps. But overall, I think I still struggle with follow-up, because I have a lot of people that don't say anything, that were super interested. I sent them samples, and then they get to the point where they literally stop saying anything.
Yeah.
And it gets frustrating. So then I try to start reaching out to them on their, wall, and just messaging different ways, commenting on all their posts. But that's definitely kind of a frustration that I have, just trying to overcome that.
Sometimes it's a battle of time. Like I mentioned, sometimes 18, 19 months into it, and you can attest to this too, Christina, sometimes it just isn't the time. People on this call, I like to call it courting, because it's kind of like a mating dance, for lack of a better descriptor, but it kind of is you just have to be persistent. But going for no is really what we want, because, and like I said, until you get that absolute foot in this, foot on the ground, I'm not doing this, I don't want what you're asking me to buy from you, then the answer isn't no.
Exactly.
But keeping the relationship, and I really love alternating the messages, even if you don't know them. If there was the smallest portal that you had a connection personally with the person, then find some way to relate back to that. If you had some goofy typo, I kind of felt like an earthquake, but I don't think it was. We're good. Everybody's live. Sorry. Whoa, that was so scary. My heart. I wish you guys could feel it. That was really freaky. But take a screenshot of it and save it or something. And then like a week later, post that to their wall and be like, I was totally just going through my messages and, you know, this made me chuckle. So the smallest thing could be something that you can relate back to them, even if you don't know them very well personally. So Christina, I don't know, we kind of do have to be inventive, I guess, is a good way to describe it, because I mean, so we always say you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we kind of do sometimes. There's been a lot of things that we can, you know, take notes from, things that have been done in the past that have really worked well, but there are always unique situations, and we always have to be original with what we do today and how we relate to people. So always be attentive, always look and see what you can relate to, and try to bring some kind of personal touch to the conversation. I heard at some point along the road that people don't buy what you're selling, they buy who they're buying from, some variation of that. And it's really true. If they don't like you as a person, then they, you know, aren't going to be as quick or as apt to grab at the opportunity or the product that you're representing. So I know a lot of people, like even in the makeup industry, your face is your business card. If they don't like what they're looking at, they ain't going to buy from you. So in this business, if they don't, you know, if your testimonial, let's say this is an example, if your testimonial isn't something that someone can see from the outside, mine isn't. My testimony is all hormonal. It's all inside. I haven't lost a grip of weight from anything. But my periods are regular. I'm stoked about that. So it's nothing that's super visible. But that's my brand. That's something that I can relate to people on, and I can reach out to. If someone's talking about, you know, how moody they are, they may not make that connection. They may just think that that's a personality trait. Nah, girl, that is something that we got to regulate. So looping it back to something that you can relate to them with, or something that you've learned, something that you've actually personally experienced is huge. But I love that, Christina, your testimony.
That's something that I've noticed, that every post that I put up that's like tonight, I've gone a week without, you know, breaking down crying and being crazy and like falling apart. And I got like 3 messages directly after that. Like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Every single time. So it's like twice a week I get a couple messages like, what are you doing? How do I do that?
Yeah. That's something I quickly want to touch on too. Mel, if you guys don't know, has the coolest story. Probably one of the more dramatic on our team, and I love it because it is such a night and day difference. And I love telling people about your story, Mel. And
it's crazy.
It's just so different. Melissa is one of the first people that I talked to about the products, and it was almost the whole entire time that it took her to feel comfortable and like really, you know, it actually took third-party validation for her, and like professional validation for her to jump in. And sometimes that's what we need. We can't justify by someone else telling us that we need this, and that's okay. It's really, I think, divine timing that
definitely
we're ready. And I think that that's where it came down to for you, Mel, but your story is so dramatic and so life-changing. But being transparent and, you know, people reaching out to you and you being transparent with your story is huge. And that's, again, what this business is about. You can also reach out to people that you know are struggling, but also, you know, you can take it as specific or as broad as you want. Your network really is, or your brand, I guess, is moms. You can relate to those people, you know, really tired, really like bogged down, people that may or may not have experienced the same anxiety or, you know, depressive issues as you have, but at least you can all relate with being tired all the time. You know, the need or lack of energy that you all have. So just having the belief that this really does help with those things and reaching out to people and having the excitement behind it. Keep reaching out. keep believing, because people to this day, you guys, like I said before, are still thanking me for being persistent. I never wanted to be a nag, and I bring that to people. I think, Mel, I've told you this a couple of times in messages over the months, but I don't want to be a nag, but here's a special going on, or I don't know, whatever it was. I always found some way to bring it to you. And then all of these months later, you know, you never know when someone will finally be ready. So I guess that's really what my rambling was about.
And it was, like you said, you brought it to me, but you brought it not in like a generic way too. You brought it like, I'm research-based. I want to know what's in it. And I, like you said, I had to have a doctor and a counselor say, yeah, this is, you know, these are the things you should try out before going on to some antidepressants or whatever. And
Totally.
And then I was, you know, and you brought that to me like, hey, I found this article on gut health and, you know, this is what it says about it. I thought you would like that. Like, you knew that I needed the research. It wasn't just, you know, like links to stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And making
Personal.
it personal. Yeah. Making it as personal as possible, relating it back to their own particular story. And that goes back to finding out the root of the problem. I always like to ask, and Jennifer Brett taught me to do this from day one, is asking what they hope for Plexus to help them with. Because that will open up a slew of answers. Maybe it's just energy. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they just want to prove me wrong. That's okay. Because I'm going to prove them wrong. Trying to prove me wrong. Because that's what happened with me trying to, you know, me joining, me ordering from Jen. So whatever their goal is, you need to find out what that is. And that one single question can open up a ton of answers, but always relating it back to exactly what they're looking for is number one, should always be the priority. And finding specific links, specific research to what their goals are, whether it's financial, whether it's health-based, that should be priority. Does anybody have anything else to add, take away? Ask about something completely different. That's okay too. No? Okay, I'm going to close up shop then, you guys. Thank you so much for being here on this Wednesday night. I love you all, and I will see you Monday with Nick. Bye.